Thanks for waiting for me, Ari. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
sure.
thank you very much. Well, problems with my connection, sorry. I was telling you about this project that is less complex. It is about communicating students from fourth grade to students from of fourth grade in India through a link that was offered by the British Council to do that. So this project involves interculturality, and the idea is that the students in each country had to prepare different activities to present cultural aspects of Colombia and India and exchange that information through a video conference. So the students prepare some letters, scrapbooks, poems, and other activities they design in order to exchange those cultural aspects with the students from the other country. So this is not that complex in the sense that it doesn't require to contact an organization or to that is not gonna take. It could take like 2 or 1 week to finish the project. So it is a project that doesn't require a high level of English so that students can present like photos of Colombia, different regions, and like the most important, let's say, fairs, the carnival, the, let's say, food. So it would require like having the students write short sentences that describe the pictures, but that will be meaningful because they will present the information to people who that don't know anything about the country, and the other way around. Indian students will do the same, so that students in fourth grade in Colombia at that school got informed about cultural aspects of India. So in that way, it was meaningful, and it was adapted to the level, the needs, or the, let's say, the possibilities of the school and the students in that place. All the skills were developed. Students had to listen to Indian students talking. Students had to talk. Students had to write the poems, had to write sentences to describe the pictures. Students had to research in order to choose the information they wanted to present. Students had to work in groups. And that's the reason why they develop more than one skill. They work on more than one skill. So we need to think about something that is close to the reality of the students that we're teaching in order to try to choose a topic, or ask them because they might have very good ideas to start a project. And as the teacher, the Spanish teacher that you watch in the video said, uh, it will be, I mean, we can ask them and get into agreements with them in order to prepare the project. So, as the teacher mentioned, the Spanish teacher mentioned, is not something that you need to change if you are a grammar teacher and if you are used to like explain the structures and vocabulary. You can start with a very simple project and find out how it works, and then make it more complex and see like the changes that you could make to improve more and more, yeah, like working with projects. I don't know if this information is clear about this project and like the stages to follow in order to create a project. A project are clear.
Yes, Diana.
Teacher,
It
I have a
is.
question,
Sure.
Yep.
Who has a question?
but um, okay. Mm, I understand that it's about, for example, in every class, the teacher have to explain the the specific objective for this class, right? But the students develop it for themselves.
Yes,
So is necessary that we do an introduction every class, or only it's necessary that we explain at the beginning, and after that the students will be develop it for themselves, and we only give them a guide if they ask for it.
help. Exactly. So since the beginning, they need to organize what they will do in each class. So they need to establish the roles. Who's gonna look for what information? Who's gonna organize the information? Who's gonna like prepare a chart, or create a chart, or look for pictures, or let's say interview people. So from the beginning, they have established roles and a plan that they need to follow for each class. They need to use that plan for each class so that at the end they have something to share. The important thing in projects is who they are going to share the information with and what for. In the case of in Maria's case, at the school where she works, the information was presented at the end for the whole school, right? Am I right, Maria?
Yes, that is right. The day of the exhibition.
Exactly. So students are not working during the whole year writing just for the teacher to correct, but they are researching and organizing information and creating, let's say, paragraphs or information in order to present that to, in this case, in Maria's case, the whole school, or in the case of this intercultural exercise, to other students in other countries. So that was is not a
Okay.
it's not an exercise to have the teacher correct it, but it's an exercise to have other people get informed.
So teacher, at the end of every class, they can present the objective, or at the end it's possible to, I mean, sometimes it's possible that it is it is developed in the same class. I don't know if you understand that I want mean.
Yes,
Or
I think what you want to what you are wondering is that if students can have an objective that could be achievable for each class. At least, let's say for tomorrow, students need to organize the information they found today about a specific region in Colombia. So they are gonna get in groups, they are gonna use computers that are at school to prepare, let's say, a PowerPoint with the pictures and to create the sentences, or to organize the pictures and the sentences in a nice way in a PowerPoint presentation, or using other resource, other program, other way to present organized information. So it could be that the objective for tomorrow's lesson could be that.
okay, teacher, thank you.
More questions? So as Ingrid mentioned at the beginning, projects can have different tasks during the classes. Uh, so the task for for this project about intercultural information could be for one class to get ready or to organize information about one region, let's say Antioquia, and by Monday they will organize information related to the coast and so on and so forth. It could be that the project is divided in different tasks for each day. a project might be less complex than this one that I am presenting. You watch some videos about other projects.
And it also depends, I think, in the as we said, in the level of complexity and the abilities and the skills of the students. So in some cases, in some projects where students are very autonomous and have developed the inquiry skills and can do their, you can give them more freedom and just like be managing. And maybe there are going to be, if you're just starting or if you're with a group of kids either by age or because of their process that are not so autonomous or are not so good at it, probably you're going to have to give them shorter tasks and guide them more through the process and go more along with them, like with the step by step. So it also, it depends on the type of project and on the type of population you have in the classroom, I think.
Exactly. If you are working with basic levels, they will need more support, more help. So you will guide them more, you will try to help them more than if you are teaching an advanced course with, let's say, 11th graders who are used to work with projects because it's part of their reality in the school. So that's going to be easier. If you're just starting a project with a group of students that don't have a lot of knowledge of English, they will need more, more help from you and something less complex. Do you remember the project about creating a chair for a pet, for a toy pet that was for
Yes,
preschoolers?
I remember.
Okay, so that's really simple, but it's close to those children reality because they are 5-year-old kids, and that involves like having them think about maths in order to create something and follow instructions and reflect up about uh, like how to make the pet more comfortable. It needs to be adapted to the level of cognition of the students that we have, their age, their English. I guess you will find lots of examples in Google about projects. So you might like use some of those examples and try them out in your classes and see how it works. Again, the idea with this type of methods is not to focus on grammar, but to have students try to communicate and develop other skills, communicative skills, intercultural skills, group work, um, research, and autonomy. And those are necessary if we are out of a classroom. You need to know how to talk to others. You need to know how to organize information, how to do things without having other people telling you what to do. So, in that, thinking about that, these theories are more successful because involve students' lives and involve them in the process. While in other theories, you are the one who chooses the topic, the exercises, you tell them what to do all the time. Students follow your instructions. So it might happen that the topic that you choose is not the one that the 40 students in the classroom want to uh, read about or listen about. So that's a reason why projects are more successful than, let's say, less modern theories or ways to teach.
Yeah, in fact, in the videos that we have to watch for this week's task, um, they emphasize on like the students need to like they must want to learn, so they must choose what they like in order to learn better in a way. It needs to be more like open. It doesn't have to be too strict because sometimes teachers just say, okay, we have to teach this, and there is no room for change, and that's why kids get too frustrated and bored. And yeah, so it's very important to make the kids want to learn, choosing the things they like.
Yeah, imagine that you were told what to research for graduation, for your graduation of the program. So it will be very boring for you to read a lot of information about a topic that you are not interested in reading about. It same happens with any student. If you are forced to do something you don't really feel attracted to, so you will lose interest, you will be demotivated. It's gonna be a waste of time for you and for the students. You will be trying all the time to have your students do what you plan, and they will be like making their best or making like trying to, but not willing to do it. But they will do that because they need to pass the school year. They need to be promoted. So if you think about what can teachers do in order to change a little bit uh, the reality that we have in education. So one answer could be try something new, try something different to what we are used to do, and see how it works. Look for information in internet, read, ask your classmates that have experience with projects or with other theories, or with other ways of teaching. But it requires some of your effort, but it's gonna be something that you will find out that you are not wasting your time, that you won't feel tired because you are like struggling with indiscipline or difficult situations because the students just don't want to do what you plan for a lesson. If you involve them in those decisions, it's gonna be easier. And if you use projects, don't expect your students uh, to produce perfect sentences with no mistakes, with perfect English, right? You need to be patient about that because uh, that's going to take them some time to correct their mistakes. Uh, if you are working on a project that requires them to write, what you can do is like check what they write and have them rewrite it. So by the time they need to present it for, let's say, the other courses or other people, it is the last version is better than the first one.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you a question, not just to you, but to all the teachers that are here in the classroom. When the students are presenting a project, like what you just mentioned, that you want the best version of whatever is doing, yeah. Is it okay to, for example, they're doing a poster? Is it okay to have kids like write things with mistakes and present it that way, or do we have to redo it until they get everything perfect? Because I have that the question. Sometimes it feels like you're doing a bad job just by showing something that is not correct. So
Uh-huh.
yeah,
But
But
question.
maybe in that case, Nico, what you would need to do maybe is include a stage in which, as the teacher was saying, in which they proofread or they have peer proofreading in certain way, meaning maybe one of the stages in which they have to work on is a stage where they present like a first draft or a pre-project,
Okay.
and then you have to check, and maybe you check and maybe they check, so they can also do like, or one group checks the other group's work, so
All
there
right.
you can reduce mistakes. Although I also think that it depends. Maybe if there are mistakes that are that maybe are very basic or are appropriate to the level, you could in that stage correct them. But maybe if there are mistakes because they are just using some language that is above their level, you can kind of accept it and maybe do the correction later in a feedback stage. I don't know. It would be
I
like my
agree
idea.
on the idea that if they are basic students, if they are beginners, you should not correct all the mistakes because they will feel bad about it. You should correct like the most,
Yeah, yeah, they are.
like the
All
ones
right.
that they
Yeah.
should not.
I asked this because
Jorge, yes.
yeah, I asked this because at the moment we're doing a project, yeah, that involves writing and presenting, and today they show me their last draft, but it was full of mistakes. Like, to be honest, for me it's okay, but I wanted to know if permitting or allowing those mistakes or that many mistakes, it's a good thing, because at the end of the day they're gonna they're gonna put up those posters, and some parents are gonna see it. So yeah, I ask that because sometimes it feels like you're doing a bad job just by showing something that is not properly written. So, but yeah, guys, thanks for the advice.
Well, you
If you
can,
But can
want
I
my
have a question?
Maria.
advice,
Maria, please.
Nicolas, you mentioned that that was the final draft, but who revises the previous drafts?
Well, I did, yeah, but after, because I mean, for this is our last week, so we don't have more time to correct. So we did like 3 stages, but after the 3 stages, there's still a lot of mistakes. Like, I mean, so that's what I'm asking. Like, I was a bit surprised, to be honest, today with some students, because it seems like they keep making the same mistakes. Probably is the way I am giving the feedback. Maybe it's not efficient enough because they're continuing making those mistakes. But yeah, so I was kind of surprised today when they showed me this last poster, many mistakes, and but the thing is, we have to put it up like that because we don't have more time. So.
if you want my advice, I would tell you like to give them like a positive feedback first, like to say that the positive things in their work, so they feel like they're accomplished something, and then ask them to change specific things in the poster or the product they're displaying.
Good. Yeah, if you don't have more time to have them correct or to mm, tell them to write like shorter sentences or less complex sentences,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, probably yeah.
it will be also important like to focus on the positive things, like if they were able to let's say develop some critical thinking about any topic, or finally create something new. I don't know what the project was about, but it needs it. I mean, if they work with groups, you need to assess their level of engagement, if they participated, if the level of autonomy, uh, of commitment, the research, how complex was, how complex the research was, etc. Other things besides grammar.
But and also I wanted to say that I'm going to give you an example. My son is in first grade. He's 7 years old, and of course, a lot of times when I see the papers that he does or the work that he does at school, it has mistakes, but he's learning. So I mean, I don't think that you should refrain from publishing or whatever, because at the end of the day, it's a process, and even if it has some or many mistakes, still the students are producing and still the students are learning. And maybe what needs to change a little bit is the culture of needing everything to be perfect. I mean, what's the point
Yeah.
in presenting or in publishing projects that are perfect but are not done by the students, and are just the product of you
Yeah.
checking and checking and checking and correcting and correcting, and it ends up being more your work than theirs. I mean, if there are mistakes, well, that's the level that they are in, and maybe that's the process that they are in, but the process, for me at least, is valuable. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the thing is, the coordinator just went through my went to my class this morning and checked the final product. So he wasn't very happy that they had many mistakes. That's why I'm asking this question, because I kind of agree with you, Andres. Like, it is a process, and they're gonna make mistakes, and yeah, they should be allowed to do so. So yeah, thanks
Do you
very
have
much,
a
guys.
rubric? Do you have a rubric to assess those? To assess the project?
Yeah, we did have, yeah,
Okay, so it
correct.
could be go to focus on the other parts of the on the other criteria in the rubric to let the coordinator know that other things were also involved during the development of the project, and that they achieved all the other competencies or the other objectives.
Different ones. Yeah, that's a very good idea. Thank you very much, teacher.
Okay. Any other comment about this or question?
I could just mention maybe I understand that it's a process and that if it's the students' production, of course, we're going to see mistakes. But I think it's important if their work is going to be published and it's going to be like other students or maybe younger students are going to see that product, maybe we do have to be a little bit careful with those mistakes. And maybe when Nicolas mentions that it's a mistake that it's being present like throughout or for a long time, then those are like an alarm for us to see and to cover or reinforce those structures or whatever the mistake is with the kids, because then there's a difference between a mistake and an error. And then those will be specific things that they already believe that they are correct. So I think it will be
Yeah,
just like an alarm sign for us teachers to identify those things, and then we say we would cover and reinforce and of course correct those mistakes in the kids. But yes, of course, I mean it's the part of the natural process of acquiring the language.
Yeah, so also it's a good idea not to let students think that what they wrote is perfect, but that there are some things that need to be checked later, uh, but that as the first, like that the result of the process is okay, but it needs a little bit more improvement, which is normal. I mean, if
I and in that case, I do think, well, at least I do it always, is that you need to have like a closing part or a closing class or a closing session of the project in which you give feedback. So you still can have a closing part, a closing session in which you can say, okay, these mistakes were not focusing on one student, but in general, like saying, okay, we are making mistakes, I don't know, uh, conjugating verbs, or we're making mistakes in the structures, or be careful because you're translating or using Google Translate, and I don't know, whatever. I mean, I don't know the type of mistakes, but you
yeah,
can do a feedback that's not that, where you can show the kids, okay, I accepted your project, we presented it, but you still need to be improving this, so you can, so everybody can notice that even though you published and there's a process, there's also things that need to be improved.
Correct. Yeah.
Good. Well, this week you are watching some videos about the prohibited education, right? And
Yeah,
Yes.
okay,
the movie
Right.
and the videos about the teacher who won the Compartir prize.
price 2 years
Mm-hmm.
ago. Right. So is to let you is to have you reflect about somebody who started a project without being told to do that. And he's from and he works from a school, a public school in Colombia. You know, so that hard work because they have 40 students in a classroom with difficulties, social difficulties. He was not told to do that. He's willing, his desire to do something for that for those students who who help him to like finish the project with very good results. So it is like to have you reflect about how to how other people can do it with lots of uh, difficulties, that just with the willing of trying to do something better. So that we just don't uh, say that it's not possible because the school don't allow you, because you don't have the resources, because it's just try to find a way and try and make the decision of doing something different, or just start. Well, we'll discuss about that next week, and that's all for tonight. Thank you all of you for joining the encounter, and those of you who participated. It's really nice that some of you are already teaching, so you can like share your experience with the ones that are new at teaching.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
Diana,
you
for
guys.
everything.
Have a good
Have
night,
a
Thank
everybody.
you
good
too.
night.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Next week.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
You.